0. Action.
3, 2, 1. What? Who? 0? What?
And audio sync in. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, we're doing. Oh, yeah. It's not live this today. Okay. Audio sync in 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, and here's Captain Foley. Welcome to Lower Decks Episode 1. We saw it early and we're pre-recording this because there's a CBS embargo. So Stuart, what do you think of Episode 1 of Lower Decks before this is pre-recorded?
It was pretty good.
It's pretty good.
People are going to think we got like the inside scoop now and we're being paid by CBS.
Look, stop making me edit stuff out. Just do your review. I'll edit it later. It's fine. God.
Oh, okay. All right. Hi guys, I'm Captain Foley. Welcome back to Trekyards.
As I said, it was pretty good.
Anyway,
it was good. It was pretty good.
So yeah, last live we had was on Thursday. So we're back today on Tuesday. So there's been a few days without us. So you could call this a reunion of sorts.
Okay.
Because we're back with you, and I'm back with Samuel, and we're back together. And
Yes.
Yay!
No Civil War here today.
No.
Well, yes, but no.
Anyway, guys, welcome back. Yeah, today we're talking about episode 7 of season 4, which is Reunion.
And
so,
I don't think it's a particularly good title. I obviously understand why, but there would have been 1,000 better things to name it. Because the reunion is barely even a second, and you can't say Alexander's a reunion because they've never met before. So,
yeah.
Piss poor title, really.
Yeah, it is. Should have been like, who's the kid? That's what it should have been called.
Or like, Klingon, well, the Klingon Civil War arc, part 2. Something straight to the point. Don't know.
Oh, we have four super chats already.
That's pretty good.
Let me read those right now.
Yeah.
Ozzy Maderos is here. Ozzy is awesome. $5. This episode was a good episode. It's also directed by Frakes, his second one. I watched it yesterday. I watched it on DirecTV yesterday. Mr. Worf, I'm your father. Skeleton Hands.
Frakes, eh? Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
There's a reason he stayed directing for the next, 30 years.
Good job, yeah. Ozzy Maderos, $5 again. Ooh.
Thank you.
All hail the superior commander and super captain Foley. Foley. Today's episode is brought to you by Wharf Fertilizers. Skeleton Hands. Oh, God. And Olivia Julius is here. $2.
Hi, Olivia.
Attention, Jeremy Astor. Congrats. You have a brother.
Although, to be fair, if he sent off Alexander to his own parents, Astor's probably there too.
Ooh, maybe.
Wouldn't that be a great cutaway? Just those great Russian parents, they're just the two kids, just like awkwardly look at each other like.
Wouldn't it maybe good for a good story later, them being raised together.
Yeah. The first thing is Worf saying, "I wonder what happened to my two kids I've abandoned." The whole episode just on Earth with them. Yes, I'll start sharing so you can talk to the wonderful people who have joined us for this next TNG review.
Yes, and Fleet Pass Swiftback puts in $2. Take some money for a good pun. I will. Justin Hampton, $2. Hit like now. Time for dad joke, Captain, about episode. And Ozzy Maderos, another $5. The Superior Commander and Super Captain Foley arrived on Tuesday. Skeleton Hands. That's good. Yeah. Your Trekyards command staff arrived on Tuesday. There you go. So, guys, if you want to help us out, as you see, people that are super chatting are doing a great job. That really does help at the end of the month. So if you guys can, please do. Plus, it ensures you get your comment read or your question answered, and we read it on air so everybody can hear it, which might not be a good thing in all cases, but that's okay. So yeah, if you want to super chat, please do. You can also join the channel at the rank of Commander, Captain, or Admiral. We got a bunch of really great people that have joined the channel, and it's probably one of the best ways to help us out, actually. Or by heading over to Patreon/Trekyards. That's also a kind of a monthly thing you can do over there, and we really appreciate all that support as well. Plus, you can PayPal. All the PayPal information is in the description of each video, so check that out if you're interested in that. We will read your comment or question via email. If you do that, just let us know that you sent one, and we will take care of that. So, yeah. I'll read Jason's super chat in a second as soon as Samuel's back. But But yeah, other ways to help us out, the Teespring store down below. You can pick up some cool Trekyards merchandise, a nice t-shirt or something. You got the Trekyards logo on your t-shirt. And there's a bunch of different kinds of logos that we have, so check those out as well. And of course, Eaglemoss, discount codes, things like that, all down in the description of every video. So any way you can help us, please do. And a lot of them help yourself as well. So yeah, we look forward to seeing you guys wearing some Trekyards merch and doing some cool Trekyard stuff. So I got a sunburn today on my face. In the sun all day, changing the brakes on the Camaro. And my buddy Paul. Thank you, Paul. So yeah, and so today we're going to be talking about Kalar and Alexander and Duras and Gowron. Love the way that Gowron says Duras. It's really great. But yeah, so now Samuel's back, so I can read the last super chat there. Jason Mo puts in $5. I'm still sad that Kalar never bumped into Dr. Solar sometime during the episode. Would have been great. Would have been great. I just want to see more of Dr. Solar, actually. But anyway.
Yeah, that would definitely have been a situation anyway. That's okay. So Stuart, what did you think of TNG? And also, do you click like, guys?
Yes.
And also,
click like.
Capitalized reunion in the title.
I did.
I mean, you should.
Didn't.
That's okay.
Oh, sorry. I got things to do.
Well, it's right there, so you can. So Stuart, what do you think of Reunion? What was your first reaction to watching Reunion? Lower Deck, Season 1, Episode 3.
My first reaction was, might as well finish the poison wine. Puts in $2. That's a great segue. Alexander is age 1 year old here, an officer by age 8. Yep. It's the soap opera kid dilemma. You have a kid on a soap opera, it's a baby for like a month. It goes away to some school, it comes back a teenager like a year later. That happens a lot.
I mean, in all fairness, though, we don't know how long days are on Kronos, so they do every year is not necessarily applicable anyway.
She wasn't on Kronos, though. She even said, she's part human, so she doesn't want the Klingon ancestors or the rituals.
But I'm sure she's still basing how old she is based on Kronos days, not based on Earth time. She's not human age, is she? Even though she was half and half.
Well, we figured out Worf was 20-something, remember? Maybe that's something.
But clearly, Klingons grow up a little bit quicker. He is tiny, though. And I'm sure they hired a young enough that can talk and walk, but extra small actor, therefore would look younger. So you get... Because, he's tiny in the episode. Looks like, But anyway. If it's a warrior race and they need to fight predators, then maybe they gain sentience a bit quicker and,
But anyway,
yes.
That's what I thought of this episode. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I remember this one kind of being kind of blah. And I didn't remember the first introduction of Gowron, which is freaking awesome, by the way.
And
he's so menacing in this one, he's got the teeth and everything.
And the Vorcha. First Vorcha.
Yes,
Looks
but
good.
He's not on it. He comes in at a bird prey, though.
I know he's not, but he does leave in the Vorcha, we can assume, because he's now Chancellor.
A very good point. Very good point.
He's by the end.
Yes. So yeah, I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. The whole Klingon stuff really doesn't appeal to me too much. Like the last one we saw where Picard was arbiter, or whatever the hell he was, arbiter of succession, whatever. Didn't really interest me too much. This one I thought was going to be more the same, and it really wasn't. This one was actually quite interesting and paced well, and got some good acting and new characters, which is great. The death of Duras, which is awesome because Duras is a dickhead or a piehead, I guess you'd call him. No, this is a good one. And unfortunately, you got to see Kalar die again, and I really like her character, but that is what it is. So I enjoyed it quite a bit this time. So there we go. Spoilers.
Yeah. Now, you don't like the Klingon stuff in TNG. Does that mean you don't like the Klingon stuff, like Way of the Warrior? Like, you like the episode, but not what's in it?
As long as they don't go too much into Klingon
so much
culture.
Klingon stuff in DS9. They just skip those episodes?
I know. No, I don't skip any episodes. You know that.
Wow.
There's some that are better done than others. I just find some of it kind of dull. Like it's the same repetitive honor crap. And it's just, it doesn't interest me very much. But yeah. So yeah, there we go. How about you?
Well, I mean, this one is jam packed. This is, I mean, it's definitely a politic. You know, this is very much like a Phantom Menace in terms of like it's a lot of politics, talking head stuff.
Mhm.
And in fact, you only really realize like halfway through, oh wait, Beverly's not been in it until she is. Troy's not even on screen at any point, I don't think. Picard gets some good little bits. Obviously, Riker's directing it, and I'm sure Brent, who's used to being the star of every show, at least half of the shows, is like, I have one line. I was like, yes, Brent, you're not always the star. These aren't bad things, but it's remarkable how this is almost an entirely guest star episode, and Michael Dorn, and some like it's like the balance is really interesting here. That we've credited these really like full characters, and also they're treating Duras with, you know, a good level of like. Obviously, we know he's important, therefore we associate that. But he is approached with a bit of reverence and a bit of, you know, interest in Alexander to a certain extent. So it's a really heavy guest star, and you couldn't have done this episode in earlier seasons. Even in TOS to have this much of the aliens and such. So it shows how mature we are by season 4, that they can do a almost exclusively. I mean, there's not even any human stuff in it really, because obviously everything Picard's doing is Klingon-y. So it's almost like the only thing that is the start when they say there's a weird anomaly here. Oh no, ignore that. Klingons are here. What? Like that's the only Starfleet bit. Is the first 12 seconds. It's completely irrelevant to the story.
Yeah.
So it's a weird when you finish it, you're like, oh, that was a weird episode of TNG. But the thing is, the actors are really good, and there's some good curveballs. And while the episode never necessarily gets ramping going, and even like the bomb moment is a really bloody surprise. Like, I forgot that happens. I was like, wait, what? Mm-hmm. The fact that it comes back from commercial in this nice, chill, lit up area, like, are you okay, Kayla? Yes, I'm fine, thanks. The bomb killed 3 people, but we're all fine. It like removed all of the epic tension like instantly. And this is like, wow, that was a flawed. So that was the possible build-up, and then it didn't do. So it never goes any, like, never vibes anywhere. But all individual scenes have a real purpose, and so every scene you're like, ooh, what is going to happen next? It's a very intriguing episode, and in terms of like political stuff, it's on a different level that we've seen for TNG, and yeah guest star the episode, really. And you can imagine every morning the makeup chair was filled with actors, and the regular makeup chair was like, well, Brett, you're not needed today. Levi not needed today. So just like all the actors hang out all day because they're all doing makeup at the same time on the days we're all working together. So yeah, it's a very different episode, I think.
Yeah, that's an interesting point about the guest star thing. I never really thought about that, but you're right. And the maturity of season 4, I like that.
Yeah,
good.
Because we're almost halfway through TNG. If you think about it, which is definitely sad. You know.
I was going to say that's depressing.
Yeah, but I mean, it took this long to get a really dedicated episode.
Jonathan Bell, $5.
Thanks, Jonathan.
That episode where Picard, who supposedly respects the laws and customs of other cultures until Worf actually carries them out. Well, he's also a Starfleet officer, so...
No, I won't agree with you there, because he does... I mean, think about how little he actually penalises Worf. He puts just a note in his record. That's
a reprimand. Yeah,
like, he murdered a guy. In absolutely cold, premeditated murder, he got a reprimand. Didn't have time off. Didn't get suspended. Didn't lower a rank. That was the absolute least he could have done. And he wasn't ever that... Like, he was just doing the formality. So he does respect his culture, otherwise he would have done more. So no, he did respect. He just had to follow the chain of command. Because even if he's on a Klingon ship, he's still wearing the uniform. And if you're taking the uniform off, and like, if he'd like asked for leave... If this was like, you know, 3 weeks later, asked for leave, then gone and murdered him, that's out of Picard's jurisdiction. But the fact that he'd been from his ship to murder the guy, then beamed back using his tech, yeah. So no, Picard was absolutely, you know, I was expecting, honestly, in the grand scheme, he should have been demoted, like, you know, or something else, or Mr. Worf, you're, you know, off without paid leave, because that's pretty major thing.
You're not allowed to give your kid to your parents.
Yeah.
Yes,
your punishment
that's your punishment.
Yeah, 3 months with your child. What? But I mean, I was really surprised by the end, like how little he's punished. Because if everyone can, you know, does that mean Bolians can go off and, you know, do their mass slaughter ritual? And he's like, you killed 44 people, innocent civilians. What was it? Reprimand to the record. Thank you, sir. You're welcome. Bit weird.
Fleetpod Swiftback, $2. Gowron's Bug Eyes, Duras.
I was shocked that was literally his first shot. Cut Duras. Like, he must have been hired with that part of his rehearsal, because only that man. Because when he cut back
awesome.
to Duros, and his eyes are really small actually in the makeup. Like
Yeah.
like that must have been part of Robert O'Reilly's audition, because the first shot he do in the eyes. So that must have been like, we like this guy. Although what amazed me, having met him quite a few times, he's so thin in this.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. He's young.
He's young and
Yeah.
thin. Sounds exactly the same. And the makeup,
Yeah.
he got more mutton chops, but he's so thin. Although no like bulk. Like he's not, he doesn't have a presence, a physical presence. You know what I mean? I think part of that though in later seasons is when he gets the extra double bonus robes that give you extra bulk, but it actually felt quite basic.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine. It actually works really well. Yeah, just other little notes.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
let's jump right in. And as you said, the first 12 seconds, they're investigating radiation anomalies reported by the starship LaSalle. It's very important.
Oh no, Stuart, beep, Klingons are decloaking.
What? Oh shit! All right. Well, don't launch those probes then.
Literally, that's just the order. De-ordered.
Yeah.
It's a silly opening. Just start. You know, start with a ship. It's fine.
Well, yeah. I kind of like it, honestly. It's like, hey, we're doing something. Oh, something else happened. Okay, that's fine.
And where's his cameo? He's still there.
Yeah. But first shot of Avorcha.
Just good.
Decloaks, looks menacing.
And they never like give a sense of, ooh, it's big and powerful, which I found kind of interesting. It's not like their brand new battle cruiser. It's just like, oh,
Yeah.
which is fine. And I essentially said to myself out loud, is that the Chancellor's? Because when you know the ambassador's on screen, I'm like, I mean, why would she have the why would she have the flagship? Ah, because it is the Chancellor's. Okay.
Mm-hmm. No, and yeah, so we see Kalar on screen, which is great, and yeah, it's. I love how she mentions Worf.
Hello, Worf.
I love you first see Picard, you see Worf in the background, and you can see the subtle little like stand up he does, kind of like stiffens up a little bit. So it was good. But yeah, there's an urgent matter to be discussed. So can I come on board? And then Picard's like, Worf, take care of this. Go meet her in the transporter room. And he's like, no, I don't want to, because my dishonor among Klingons may offend her. I love Picard. He's like, you're a member of this crew, so you will not go into hiding whenever a Klingon vessel decloaks.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that. I withdraw my request. I think Picard did it as like go into hiding implies cowardice. So when he says that, Worf automatically, I withdraw my request, or just because it's his commanding officer, and also he's kind of being accused of being a coward a little bit. So I kind of like that. I think that was very well done on Picard's part.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much good Picard Worf stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm. But they're beaming 2 people on board. 2? Yes, 2.
And this is the astronaut lady, I believe.
No, it's not. It's not.
Darn it. Okay, because it's not O'Brien, so I thought it must be somebody then.
No, she wears a blue uniform in the episode she's in, and she's got.
But she's a transporter chief.
No, that's not her. The astronaut lady is in blue.
Okay.
She got different hair. She got shorter hairstyle.
Okay.
But yeah,
I found it odd that he's like 2. It's like they didn't tell you it was just one person on the bridge. It could be her and friend. Like it's played like it's for the audience to be like, hey, look, someone else. But it's like it's not a big deal, Worf. It's okay. There's 2.
Well, he was looking forward to seeing her because
new boyfriend. That's what he's thinking, isn't he? What?
Maybe. Aww. But when he says energize, he's got that look on his face, and then you hear the transporter beam, and he looks over and so no, it's commercial break. That's what happened now.
He is so tiny.
He is. And then, yeah, he hasn't had much contact with the children, so whatever, they leave him with the other kids. And then in turbo lift, and not even a bite on the cheek for old time's sake.
It's a good line.
Yeah. So they talk about his dishonor a little bit and how he accepted this commendation. And I love her response because in the first one she's all about the stupid rituals that Klingons have to do. So she's like, do I have to perform some ridiculous ritual just to talk to you now? It's really well done. And then she said, I just thought you might want to talk. Look, I got a question a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
And he's like, do I have to ask the question? She's like, yes, you do. Like, power trippy much.
Well,
she just wants him to acknowledge and say it, you know? Is that my child?
Well, he's not the most communicative man, so force him to discuss and debate. And it's one of those weird things that Alexander feels like the most afterthought possible in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you would think that would be a full episode on itself. But Gowron and Duros are so fun to watch, and she's great to watch, that you really do mentally just kind of like glaze over when Alexander's on the screen, at least at the first half.
Every time Alexander's on screen, whenever he shows up, I just glaze over because he's just awful.
I mean,
as a character.
We'll see when we get there. But it's played like an important thing that is really left under. So if you're going to focus on it. Like, it would have been better if she had died and suddenly, like, his nanny comes to the ship with the boy and he's like, wait, what? You know.
It would have been better if Alexander died too, because otherwise you're making Worf look like an asshole and the bad father. Because they wrote in his son. Sure, his parents will look after them because there'll be a family, but then he's an afterthought for the rest of TNG. He shows up every once in a while to say, "Oh yeah, I remember he has a kid," and even in DS9, it's just he's not a good father.
Well, it's the opposite to Jake, Sisko, and you know, always together, always communicating, always a family, and Worf is the exact opposite. He's a bad father with a bad communication, But I mean, he never wanted to be a father, like in the abstract sense of what we saw in the show. Even after that, he never expressed an interest, even in women necessarily, until Jadzia, and they didn't talk about kids, as far as I recall. So I wouldn't call him as a father figure, you know. And I'm sure Klingons can. Well, if Klingons can have kids and be warriors within 8 years, as Jill said, based on the timeline, then you can have a kid when you're 50, 80, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
he'll be fighting with you in 10 years. It's fine. It's all good. But yeah, it just feels weird, and I would love to hear the dude that pitched Alexander and like what they were planning, because it feels like a major arc. It's like introducing lore. It's like, ooh, there's a lot you can do here. Oh, you did 3 appearances and 2 were bad. Oh, Alexander promised. Oh, you're gonna have him, because that's also the weird part of the ending. He sends him off. It's a cute moment, but it's like, why are you sending him off? If you're introducing him, surely that he's important. If you send him off, why have you introduced him?
I think the plan was there was going to be more Klingon-y stories there in the future. It just never panned out.
Yes, Kalar's good. But knowing she gets killed kind of saps all the energy out of them a little bit. That she's played as such like a... She's good old Kalar, but you're like, yeah, but they're not focusing on her internal character stuff because they know she's going to die. So she's a great part of the episode, but not necessarily the best Kalar because she's not the focus.
But she's good. I love the way she's doing the investigation and trying to piece together what happened with his discommendation and stuff. I think that was well done.
But she's also stupid because she let Duras in and didn't have a knife or a phaser. I mean, it's her fault. I mean, no sympathy she got killed. You know, sorry. She shouldn't.
Well, I don't think she expected that on a Federation ship. That's all.
She should have been. It was Duras. Duras is I mean, come on, Stuart, if they use Romulan weapons, you can expect them of everything. That's kind of the whole point.
Yeah, but she doesn't really know what Duras is like, because when Picard makes a statement and he found him to be untrustworthy, she's like, "Would you like to expand on that?" And that's why she was looking into it. So she really hadn't. But that's put it all together yet.
But she had in that moment. That's why it's surprising she didn't have a knife, because you know the guy who you know is the worst traitor of the Empire just come into your room. You're gonna grab the knife, like that's the moment where she does know, and yet she does. You know what I mean? So yeah, if she'd been killed earlier, fine, but she knew at that moment. It's an unceremonious end for sure.
Oh, absolutely, yes, I totally agree with that. But anyway, so we find out that the Klingons are on the brink of civil war.
Mm-hmm.
Usually over what? The usual excuses: tradition, duty, honor.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Kempek is dying,
Mm-hmm.
and two factions are trying to seize power. So we got Duras and we got Gowron. Now we know Duras. We've met him already. Gowron was new. Like you're not sure which one is the bad guy. Like you're expected to think Duras, but they throw little Gowron things in there to mislead you because we don't know this guy.
You say that, but they do it very barely. It's like everything points to Duras, and does anything specifically point to Gowron? It's more just like, well, it could be him, but there's no like.
It was one of Gowron's men that the bomb was planted in.
They didn't say that. They said one of the two.
Yes, they did. Oh, they did. They said it was Duras or Gowron's men. They do say it. Trust me.
So they implanted it in They kidnapped Gowron's guy and put it in Gowron's guy? But I thought you just fixed your internet, Stuart. And guys, please do super chat if you want us to talk and chat and whatnot. You know, have a conversation with you all. Those in cells at the Starfleet. Oh, there it is. Wow,
There you go.
You've gone ages.
Oh, there I'm back. All right. So yeah, no, they do say that was one of Gowron's men, which throws you for a little bit of a loop because you're like, wait a minute, how's that a possibility?
So they kidnapped Gowron's
I didn't hear
guy.
anything you said about it.
So they kidnapped Gowron's guy and put it in his arm because I don't believe for a second.
Hate him.
Well, to be a suicide bomber. Stuart, man. What's going on? Super chats for better internet, guys. That's how that works, right? There it is. Paid him, but to be a suicide bomber? How can he pay you enough to be a suicide bomber?
Well, maybe he was an undercover Duras guy that was been with Gowron for a little while. You don't know. They state it was in Gowron man's arm.
Okay, because I just heard that scene.
It's a red herring to throw you off a little bit.
Oh, I didn't hear that, so I was just like, well, it's Duras the entire time. I thought it was like, well, at least make it seem. Things Gowron, they knew Gowron's gonna be at the end of the season. They can't make him look like a baddie. But for me, I was just like, I mean, it's Duras. I mean, there's literally nothing there that's Gowron, you know. And Gowron's surprise at the end. It's just like, dudes, like I think they do a pretty shitty job to the audience. They really want to think it's Gowron. It's like, this is the guy who's bad, and this is a new guy. It's the guy that's bad, you know. He's been an entire enemy, one of the enemies for the season. But do you think
he was working with Kempek in the last one, and they both agreed on this commendation. So why would he be poisoning him? There's a little bit of a red herring threat.
I mean,
I understand that. I'm just telling you what it was like the first time watching it, because you think it's Duras, but it's like too obvious that it's Duras, so it's got to be this other guy.
Yeah.
Fleet Pass Swiftback puts in $5. Let's be fair here. We don't see the fight. We don't know how much of one Kalar put up. She could have effed him up somewhat. Well, we see him later, but yeah.
I mean, he hasn't got a scratch on him, so.
Dermal Regenerator.
Yeah.
Jeff, Honey, I'm Home Jacobs puts in $2.53. 50 likes. Sweet. 100. I know we can. Hashtag Kalar love.
Well, actually, that could have been kind of a nice side note if when we cut back to when Worf beams aboard, Duras actually injured in being healed by a medicine guy, by a doctor, and he's all like, this hurts. And then the only reason Worf could kill him is because Kalar injured him, you know, because like in last episode we saw 5 hours to heal wounds or whatever, or does a gene scan, but you know, that would have been kind of nice if because of Kalar hurt him first, that Worf was able to kill him. Because it doesn't matter if Worf's, you know, if Worf could or couldn't kill him in hand-to-hand combat. It would have been kind of nice if Kalar had softened him up first. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, tag team revenge.
And Tenchi 2K7 puts in $5. Yeah. And Gowron offered Kalar a seat on the council if she helped him.
But that's just what you do. I mean, that's normal. Normal politics.
Yeah. Seemed kind of sketchy, though.
Really?
And not...
Because he did it so, so nicely. He's just like, hey, I mean, help, and I'll help you.
I guess I'm wrong, so...
Yeah, I thought it was normal.
Not a bad account, $2. But in Klingon tradition, the corpse is sacred. Yes, of course it is.
But don't you like that they said? Cause I guess it was in season 1. In season 1, women can't be on the council, but Gowron is such a feminist that he lets women be on the council.
Promise he didn't have to fulfill after his goal was attained, I guess.
Well, she got murdered, so yeah.
Yeah.
But wasn't it interesting how in this is one of the only times I've ever remember seeing in TNG where Picard is not at the head of the table.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
It's weird. I guess Troy is in this
Super
episode.
weird.
Like, it feels like
Well, she is too.
I didn't say a damn sausage.
Yeah. 10G 2K7 $5. And later Gowron says women may not serve on the council. LOL. Yes. Ensign Ricky $5. Just because. Well, thank you very much, Ensign Ricky.
Because it's good.
Appreciate that.
And guys, we would love to know what you think of this episode. Obviously, you'll tell us at the end, but if you want to tell us now, please do.
I love how they're like, well, what do we care about the thing on Civil War? Well, sooner or later, it's going to drag other neighboring systems in because that's
Always
what happens.
does. Always
Federation won't be able to stay out of it long.
like the Tholians and the Ferengi. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and she's the best character to also give this dialogue because whatever she says, it's fair and balanced. Isn't Gowron saying they will destroy us, Picard? You're like, yeah, will they though? It's not quite the same level of resonance.
Mm-hmm.
But then we get to see Kempak, and I always forget he's in it twice. I was just like, oh, a bit of continuity. It's the old guy who's also the general in Star Trek 5. So great, they brought him back. Good for him.
Yeah. Yeah. The general from Star Trek 5. Same actor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, old guy, and he's like, I need your help, Picard. I've been slowly being poisoned by small doses of iridium-6 in the wine.
Drink.
Well, yeah, you're at that point. It's what the hell.
Yeah, but it's a nice little stupid moment. Just like, don't care.
Yeah.
I'm dying tomorrow. I'm going to drink a lot more today.
So he tells Picard that after he dies, he wants him to act in his name to arbitrate the struggle for power.
Uh-huh.
And Picard's like, nope, don't want to get involved. It's not right for a Federation officer to be...
Uh-huh.
He's like, well, I've already sent it on, so...
You're doing it.
You had no right to do that without my consent. You would have said no. Yes, I would have, and I am. But god damn it. Yeah, I love it. Getting forced into a political situation. He says it's not really political. This is like this is similar to every other dispute that the Federation deals with.
Mm-hmm.
You're a diplomat. You're used to that. So I want you in charge. I trust you.
Mm-hmm.
You're the only person I can trust because I can't trust anybody on the council. So I love that.
It's actually a super well crafted scene. Actually, you can tell that the older guy was a really good actor in his day. Not that he's not now, but like it's a very long scene percentage wise, and it feels very full and rich. And it's just like close up to these two guys talking, and it's a really like textural scene. It's good. It's really good, and I love the fact that he's wearing every single bit of paraphernalia you can as a Klingon. With a costume department, like every single piece, pretty much. All the creaks of his costume, and just Picard is great. I mean, this is radical as all hell. Like, a Federation officer chooses the new Klingon leader, and he's obviously not going to choose Duras. I mean, talk about bias, try to have him killed. But yeah, I mean, he's one of the best negotiators in Starfleet. So yeah, it's a really strong scene actually with two good actors just having fun in a not a fun scene to like be in if they were actually in the scene,
Yeah, I love how this is the first time he says the two factions involved are Gowron and Duras. And Picard's like, Duras? Yeah, I knew that name would interest you. Well, yeah, he tried to kill me last time. But that'll get his interest, so. And Ozzy throws in $5.
Hey.
Worf helps Gowron at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, he helps himself. Yes.
And then he kills Gowron at the end. Oh dear.
Yeah, he just has a problem with these people.
Full circle, yeah. But yeah, really good scene. I like the fact that Kempak just stands up to sit in a different chair, so there's some motion in the scene. It's like, the director's just like, Jonathan, yes? More motion. Go to that chair. Okay, great, cool, we did it.
Move
we got
to that
it.
chair.
Yeah. It's just funny when you watch it. But yeah, good scene. And then you get some good...
Great shots of the...
Yep.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yep, really well done.
I mean,
Well, I don't know if they're well done. I think they look good, so...
I mean, the only thing I'll say is the miniature isn't super well detailed in terms of paint detail. Geometry, it's nice, but if you look, I mean, you can literally see like, in this particular shot, you can see the paint strokes on the left, on the right wing. So it's not like finished particularly, whatever. I'm sure they were rushing, but the shot.
It's also upscaled to high def. I don't think you necessarily would have seen that.
Oh yeah.
Standard.
But I mean, the ambition of these shots is really good, and there's quite a few of them. So yeah, they really put some time. I mean, it's a bottle show really, but with a lot of makeup. So they put some money into the effect. But I mean, even like these impulse engines, they're not glowing, they're not lighting. I mean, this model's a bit flat. It looks like a miniature being lit, but the ambition of the shots is great.
We find out now that Kempek has died. The longest ruling.
Oh, did they say that? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Didn't have that.
Kempek, who ruled the Klingon Empire longer than anyone in history, is dead.
Wow.
They said.
Cool. I'm glad there was no delay in warp travel because he died the next day. Jeez.
Yeah. Then Alexander's being a little dick. And Worf comes in and says, "No, you must earn your victories." I love the way he points. Like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Then Alexander's asking a lot of questions. Where are the other Klingons? Why are there none others on board? And Worf says a warrior does not ask so many questions. I don't want to be a warrior. He takes off. Not the best actor for a kid, but...
I mean, but we've never seen a Klingon child out of one.
No.
So I think because he's not great, he feels alien, and so it's a unique performance that feels right. So I think it works for this. You know? Like, I'd rather have the old, from the future Alexander actor, but hey, bit old for this part. Don't think he could play a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
But yeah, these scenes, I mean, it doesn't help that these scenes are in the most, like, plain, who cares rooms, like, of this school. It's just like all this epic stuff and this bright, colourful, boring, it's like, oh, we don't care. But I like how everyone's in the chorus like, who is this guy? And he's like, what, 2 foot? 2'3"? So small. But I mean, the makeup is really good considering. Like, that is micro Klingon head makeup, but it is flawless. And that kid had to put up with that. Because that is a full makeup. Well, I bet they probably filmed all the scenes in one day, because why would you make the kid sit through a 3 to 5 hour makeup more than once? I mean, do you know what I mean?
He got a lot of sweets that day. Here, you get some candy if you sit in the chair.
Yeah.
But they have a nice discussion here where Worf's like, he knows nothing of our ways. Klingon ways, you mean? I'm half human.
Mm-hmm.
He will find his own ways. Why the sudden concern, anyway? You won't even acknowledge that he's yours. And why didn't you tell me that we had a kid? And he's like, I can't say that I'm his dad because he will have my dishonor thrust upon him. He won't want to live in the Empire someday. So I can't acknowledge that he's my child.
I mean, there's certainly logic there. It's just kind of sad.
Yeah. It's very sad.
But also, he does this scene, the same speech, like a couple of times.
Yeah.
So,
Well, she asked why you accepted this commendation, because I know that for a fact that you challenged it. So what happened? It's like, I cannot say.
Yeah.
And then they get called to the bridge. So, SWTX Chaser, $20. Thank you very much.
Wow. Awesome.
This episode brought to you by Gowron's dating service. Does your mate keep getting killed by galactic villains? Try Gowron's dating service, where we know Batleth, bringing honor to your dating life since the second Khitomer Accords. That's good. That's good. I like that.
Oh dear. I mean, if he likes the match, he'll say glory to you and your date. And if he's the bartender, glory to you and your cocktail. You know,
Uh-huh.
and if you choose to have him outside or in your bedroom watching you fornicate in the Klingon way, glory to you and your mate, ting.
Ah.
Yeah. And yes, Michael Orm's face at my jokes there were apt.
Yeah.
No, he should just yell, "Be silent!" It's like, sorry, Worf.
Uh-huh. Anyway, the Klingon vessels, the Vorn and the Barak.
Although not AKS. IKS, I guess.
Oh, they didn't say that.
And definitely cavorts, given the fact that they're absolutely massive.
Yeah.
But that's not, you know, those would have been absolutely tiny if they weren't absolutely massive. So, you know.
And Gowron shows up and said, let's get this over with.
Nope.
Duras.
Yeah.
And Picard's like, in an hour we'll do the ceremony to prove that he's dead, essentially. And he's like, what's the or why the delay? Picard's like, there's no delay. It's just the time I picked.
Well, no, he says that, like, why the delay? Well, that's the time I picked.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Time I've chosen. Exactly 1 hour, Picard. And Worf comes on the bridge.
Yes.
Keep that talk away from the ceremony, Picard. He has no place on a Klingon ship.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And great view screen Duras lighting scene. One of the best I've seen of view screen shots. Well done them. And what great use of real-time view screen. Like, even looks at the right place at the right time. Well edited. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, does that mean that what he's seeing is a wide angle of the whole bridge rather than just Picard's face? Because if just like Duras's face, it's a close-up. How did he see Picard? How did he see Worf? So it must be a wide angle. Never thought that until just now.
Yeah. Yeah. Now there is a little bit of a here. Kalar's at the back of the bridge, and Picard says, "Ambassador, meet me in transporter room 6 in 1 hour." And she says, "Okay," and walks towards the conference room door. Next shot, we see the back of the bridge. You don't see her move. You don't see her go by there. And the next shot, she's gone. So she went somewhere, but maybe she got on her knees and crawled. I don't know. I don't know where she went.
I mean, it's traditional Klingon when you order to go to a briefing room or whatever, transporter room. Yeah. Or she's side beamed to be quicker. You know, efficiency.
Just add a transporter sound effect in there.
Yeah.
That'd work.
Cool. Hey, good catch.
I'm just gonna hang out in the transporter buffer for an hour because I don't have anything else to do.
Well, it keeps you young if you spend all your spare time in the transporter buffer. God. Yeah. Yes.
Anyway, next is in the ready room, and Picard's like, "Yeah, I know the next few days are going to be rough for you, Worf, but I'm aware of your discomfort with this, but we got to do our thing." Kalar is getting me ready for my role as in the right of succession, and then permission to speak freely, sir. Duras must not be allowed to lead the council. And Picard's like, "Well, it's his legal claim. I know you have personal feelings against the guy, but I cannot hold the dishonor of his father against him." It goes on to say he's a traitor. He betrayed our people. So, and then he does acknowledge, though, that Duras's crime was to blame it on your father. So there is some dishonor there. So I will not forget that, he says.
But it is a weird scene in the greater context, because he also said to Kumpak that he tried to murder me, but he doesn't mention that again.
Yeah.
But if he knows that's average Klingon politics, then he's not going to take that into account, because that happens all the time. But he just said, I'm not going to listen to normal Klingon politics, because in those situations you blame your son for your father's actions. So Picard's doing his own thing. Even though I'm pretty sure he knows instantly he's not going to pick Duras, because why would you? And knowing that, like... You know what I mean? Yeah, I guess it's more the who's better of the two bad choices. I don't know this Gowron guy. Although it would have been kind of better to put some exposition of who Gowron is in this scene. They
do kind of, because Worf says he's kind of unknown. He challenges council quite often, but I don't know much about him.
Yeah.
But I do know that Duras. He says I do know Duras.
Yeah.
And his heart is not Klingon.
Which
we find out, because Worf finds out here too that Kempak was poisoned.
Yes. Oh God.
Worf says no Klingon would poison.
And again, more evidence to not pick Duras. I mean, there's like infinite reasons. But it would have been nice if Picard said, Gowron, he's this, and this. Like, it's weirdly missing. They don't know necessarily going to bring him back. They should know because they're in the end of the season. They don't necessarily know. But it would have been nice to have this spot, to have something, or Worf to be... Because I know, like, Worf knows Martok, and when you introduce him, he's able to give some basic spiel. But it's kind of like, let's dunk on Duras Hour, this scene. I think this point, I felt we're a bit too talky. Like, this one scene, because we're kind of repeating a few of these, just, like, we're repeating moments in this scene. It moves past it quite quickly. But, like, this one's okay, we've that's probably having secrets. If you tell different characters secrets, you have to reiterate the same secret, so...
Yeah, well, it's exposition for the audience that might not have seen the first episode to know that this guy's sketchy, so...
And again...
and I don't think it was overdone, but...
No, it just is when you know all so well, I think. That's the only problem with this. When you know Gowron, you know Duras, all of Duras's, some things can't be the same surprise again, It's like, I know that 3 generations of Duras suck. So therefore, or 4 generations, it's like, they're not a good family, But yes, anyway, then then we get to meet... Oh. No, we don't. Yes,
that's Gowron, she says. Yeah.
Yes.
And the shot of Gowron, the very first shot of him, is out of focus and blurry and really bad. It's like, what?
But yet you still see the eyes. Still see him.
So this is just to prove that Kempek is dead, and they use pain sticks on him, which interesting, I guess.
I mean,
she
cool
declares him dead by
moment. That's such a cool idea. It's horrible, but it's so cool.
Yeah, she declares him dead by saying Sanchi, and right of succession is complete. It's obvious who the 2 challengers are, so we'll proceed with. What does he say here? We will proceed according to the traditions and the precedents set down in Klingon law.
Yeah.
And we can read on board the Enterprise. And Duras is very quick, like, no, let's finish it here. Let's finish it now. And then the explosion goes off. It's like, what the hell is this explosion supposed to accomplish?
Well, let's get into that in a second. Just one last note. I like the subtlety, the subtext of how Duras stabs the guy incessantly. He enjoys hurting his corpse.
They both do, even
Well,
Gowron has a little bit of a.
But there's a distinct difference of level. And that's my only note. Just like, well done for another cool. Like, it's a long scene. Actually, it's quite a long scene, but it's just a good contextual. Yes. Then it goes bluey, and I did not remember this was going to happen. I was very surprised. I was like, oh, okay,
yeah,
what?
Like, what was it trying to accomplish? Because they're both in the room. You don't want to kill your own guy, or you don't want to kill yourself if you're masterminding this. It just, I don't know. And it's, what was it trying to accomplish? It almost doesn't make sense that this was a thing. He was already dead. Chances are you're probably, unless they're trying to throw the suspicion on Gowron, but
don't know how it would.
I don't know.
I mean, apart from the guy, but
neither
of them knew it was Gowron's guy that blew up. So it's not even like they announced. And in fact, if you look at the scene, Gowron and Duras are standing basically 2 arms length, and the explosion's right behind both of them, where there's no guy, but whatever, he must have been standing in the corner. That's why it doesn't really work as a guy he blew up, because there's no guy there, and it would be obvious if there was a guy there and it blowed up from there. It looks like a console because a console explodes. I was really like, it doesn't play that well. There
should have been body parts everywhere.
Well, no,
blood.
That'll be a Corridor Digital's added. But I mean, Duras, all he had to do was stand like slightly further away, because you see him explicitly like at camera. Like, it's actually quite a good little pratfall. But I don't know what they're trying. I mean, it might have been timed wrong, and maybe you could argue that the Romulans like wanted to kill them all anyway. It's a curveball. It doesn't really mean much. And guys in the chat, what do you think it meant? Because they also kind of move past it pretty quickly.
Very quickly.
And it doesn't even necessarily lead to suspicion of who did what anyway. Like, if it hurt Gowron, or if it hurt them both with burns, Or Duras had burns, that would have been great. Hurt Duras, he's in the hospital, or the space hospital, and then Gowron's like, I don't know who could have done it. And like, it must have been you. That's what would normally have happened, but nothing happened from it. So...
Yeah, it just seems like not needed, really. Although it's what shows the Romulans were involved because of the
yes.
trigger.
Which is great. Lovely little bit of information.
But
yeah.
Sketchy. So yeah, they talk again.
Yeah, it's a bad edit. Drama. Oh no, we're all fine. I will tell you off screen that 2 died and moving on fine. Okay, whatever, Alexander. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Guess it wasn't a big deal then. Cool. That's really weird.
Well, they talk about taking the oath, and he's like, I wouldn't have just done it because of tradition. She's like, I wanted to tell you about Alexander, but I wasn't ready. Anyway. You're part of me, Worf. And then they grab each other's hair. And she's like, I can't be with you because, you'll suffer because of my dishonor. She's like, I don't care what the Klingons think. And this is where he says, what about the boy? He may one day want to live in the Empire.
Yes. I mean, I like the fact that he's turning her down because, he wanted her the entire time. Sure, he said no, and she finally said yes. But it's like, dude, you finally got the girl.
Yeah.
And not just that, but unfortunately, I think the way this scene plays a little bit is not like the way he says it's not just because of the boy or whatever. All I can think of is you're the only girl that let me sleep with her, therefore I love you. Like he doesn't love her, he just slept with her, therefore should marry her, and first girl that would, so therefore I feel I should. Like there isn't this real bond of love from him. That might not be a Klingon thing as much. But it's more just like, babe, you're my first. And I feel like high school sweethearts. And so it's never like, you know what I mean? It's never played in that really
No, they knew each other before the first episode, though.
Yeah, but he doesn't play it like that in the same. But that's also Michael Dorn and Worf playing it quite restrained.
And I forgot to say a joke I was planning all day. God damn it.
Oh.
When we see the Vorcha, it's like she's upscaled her ship sizes. From when we first met her.
Torpedo tube.
She's moving up in the world.
Well, talk about way of travelling. The flagship and a tube. a tube. I mean, it's certainly what on her?
Eugene, 250 rubles. What if both Gowron and Duras were trying to kill Chancellor separately? He was already dead, though.
I mean, they didn't know he was going to be dead at that point, I suppose.
And Dito77X says it was a Romulan bomb to disrupt the chain. Maybe neither one of them knew about it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But then the idea of how did the Romulans get the thing on board is explicitly implied that Duras did it. So if Duras didn't do it, then how did the Romulans get a bomb into one of the officers on the flagship and in a way that doesn't hurt doesn't kill anybody of importance? I would assume that the guy that Gowron's guy was implanted didn't know he was the bomber, and therefore he, because that would make more sense. Then he would just be able to stay with Gowron. Now, if it was Duras trying to kill Gowron, that makes sense. But if the guy didn't know he had a bomb in him, then it just went off at the wrong time because obviously there was no, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That might make sense. But if he had known, he would have tried to kill Gowron, but obviously didn't try and kill Gowron. He just blew up nearby, but not too near.
Well, speaking of the bomb, the next scene is in the ready room. So we've completed our analysis of the bomb debris. Dr. Crusher is still studying the remains of the men killed in the explosion, but we need more time. And she's like, well, Duras and Gowron are going to be here in a few minutes. I don't think you can delay the meeting.
Is 33 seconds enough? Oh, yes, that's perfect. No.
And he's like, is there a way of stretching this out? She's like, well, in the modern, way of doing this, there just has to be 2 parties, and it's pretty easily resolved. He's like, you said modern way. How is this traditionally done in the past? And so they have to go through a list of all of their challenges and battles they've won to prove, and the prizes they've taken to prove that their worthiness to lead the council. And he's like, can the old form still be used? And she's like, it's up to you. You can do whatever you want. So, and then she asked him about Worf's discommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Her interest is personal, and he's like, "Yep, sorry, I can't discuss it."
And that scene's weird because the way she asks him as soon as the door's open, which would be like surely he should say close the door, and he shuts off shuts her down instantly, and she's like it's a very unsatisfying moment. It's played as an afterthought. It's not really given any sort of meat. It doesn't need to, but it's like why are you bothering to have this little moment really if you're not going to do any weight? But Area 51 has a great comment. He says, "The bomb guy had an itch. He had to scratch and triggered it by accident," which is quite possible. Yeah.
Luke Celeste puts in $10.
Thank you.
It was a premature bomber like Ahmed.
Good stand-up comedy. It's good stand-up comedy. And every
So
time
they're going to be there in minutes. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, so every time I see the three, I'm just like, the Enterprise is not going to have fun. Because it's a pretty, you know what I mean? It's like, oh no.
Yeah. They say they're going to be there in minutes. The next scene, Kayla and Picard are walking in from the wrong entrance to the briefing room. Because considering they were just in the ready room, and if they're going to be there in a few minutes, they just walked through the bridge.
Well, they went into the telelift to then go round.
Maybe. Yeah, they went for a little bit of a
jaunt.
Ooh. Yeah. So this is great meeting Gowron. Mm-hmm. He's really crazy. Mm-hmm. You will die slowly, Duras.
Yeah, and he just hits the security guard. Doesn't have anything, doesn't have repercussions. It's like, what?
Worst security guys ever. They're like right beside him with the phaser, like.
But at least they have them drawn. We've seen other episodes where they don't draw them, so I was gonna give them credit for that. Okay, they're learning slowly.
I can just see these two dipshits being in lower decks.
Yeah.
My first day as a security guard. Oh my god!
By the Chancellor that don't get to do anything. Yeah. But hey, what a great scene for the murals behind the ships. Yeah. What a great day to actually appreciate them.
Yeah. But anyway, he says he's going to be doing the ancient ritual of Jadach. I don't know whatever the hell it's called. Anyway, Jadach.
Shadich.
Sure. Duras is like, this woman has been giving you bad advice, Picard. That's obsolete.
And Garen's like,
nope.
Garen's like, that'll take hours or days.
Or days.
Oh.
Depends on your cooperation. Yeah.
It's good stuff.
No, it was good. It was well played. But I love how Picard's like, I want to honor the ancient, trying to be respectful.
I want to do it right. And the way he sits down is like a bit of a smug, like, it's happening.
I'm in control, bitches.
I wonder if later, when Garon sees Picard, he's like, do you remember that one time you made me wait for like 19 hours to be Chancellor? You know what, Picard, you're going to wait for me this time, because now I'm the Chancellor, you're just the captain. Yeah. You know?
Well, there's an incident or two where they need his help, and he's nowhere to be found.
Very true. This one's for that time. Oh, and then we get the lightest possible batleth prop ever. If that kid can... that is a nothing weighing batleth. Which is impressive how good it looks. It must be so light. Wow.
Well. Yeah, anyway, No, that's not how you do it. Think of it as part of your hand, part of your arm. Mm-hmm. Get some of the... Which is nice. I like the way they use the batleth. It's really well done.
Right.
James McGill, $3.
Thank you.
When you have Klingons aboard, lock your doors.
Oh.
Speaking of locking your doors, next scene, she's sitting in the conference room, and Gowron comes in and says, basically, he relies on you, your knowledge of Klingon law. He values your advice. You could quicken the pace of all this. Have you ever wondered about serving the Klingon Empire? She goes, well, I do serve the Klingon Empire my own way. As an ambassador. He's like, yeah, a few rewards, but little glory. She asks, what do you want? He asks, what do you want? And says, command of a ship, a seat on the council. There are many opportunities for you in the Empire.
Well, I feel like when he says the ship, her eyes do light up a little bit, like, oh. Split second.
It seems more like, oh, he's trying this approach. I don't know if it's like I'm interested in a ship, but
Because you can do quite a lot with a ship. You know, like if she likes ambassadoring, but I thought, I mean, this is certainly a good thing. I mean, the fact that she calls him out as a Ferengi is a bit.
oh yeah,
But the thing is, she hasn't spent that much time in Klingons or the High Council, so she doesn't know really what it's like in top tier politics, as we know with Durasan and the Chancellor. And the last time we saw them, they were dealing absolutely underhandedly. So at the top tiers, those sorts of rules don't apply necessarily because things have to get done. And this feels like Garon to me to a T. It's just like I can help. I mean, this is a mutual win because he's not saying cheat. He's saying put in a good word for me. You know, don't falsify stuff. Just put in a good word for me, and I will do classic Klingon and help it scratch back a re.
Well, I like how he says here. This kind of also implies that he says Kempak was also stubborn. He too refused to listen. Now he is gone. It's like you need not make the same mistake. It's almost like a threat. Like he's gone because I killed him. You better not do the same thing. That's how it plays. But
the only caveat to that is that he says gone, not dead, and there's no venom when he says gone. It's a very matter of fact.
It's Gowron get venom. He's gone.
But you know what I mean? He's not like he's dead. So his words are picked to be non-menacing, even though again, this Klingon language. But it could have been. It could easily have been. And that's why I think missed opportunity of really making him feel that weird way. But again, he's not the baddie, so it's kind of you can only go so far with that.
And Trout Bum Wombat puts in $5.
Great name.
The TNG Batleth was aircraft aluminum. Or aluminium.
But I'm sure that was a stunt version, even lighter. No offense to the kid, but I doubt you could hold a full Batleth. That makes it look so effortless. Yeah.
My foam one looks real. Like at that distance.
Oh yeah.
Even the molded leather parts look really good. So.
But the fact they held up in HD, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when like Worf takes it, it looks heavy again. Something about that,
So down in engineering, they've completed their analysis of the bomb debris. It was a
humans get a scene. The other officers. Oh,
and
wow.
an android. Yeah. So the explosive was a triceran derivative. The entire device couldn't have been more than 3 cubic millimeters in size. Could have been hidden anywhere in that room. And there's one more thing. The bomb had a molecular decay detonator. Only one race uses that. Romulans. That's the end of that scene.
Yeah. But I mean, it's cool, though. And that is a really small bomb. Like, oh my god, that's a small bomb. That is... I mean, fair, it doesn't even damage the hull. I know
exactly.
It's a stunt thing. It's enough to just blow through you, and I guess the shrapnel of your body kills the other people. More than anything else. But yeah, real small bomb. Very impressive.
Ervik Sonder puts in $5.
Thank you.
Why does Worf have so much bad luck with his girlfriend, his son, his brother, his wife? His parents. He forgot his parents. Anyway, I don't know. He's just bad luck Klingon.
Because they like to make Michael Dorn act. Ain't no... And skincare insurrection.
Yeah.
Just can't even have a good day. But yeah, then back in the ready room.
Well, conference room.
Yeah. What do they talk about here?
Briefing. Oh, this is where how'd the Romulans get a bomb aboard the flagship?
Well, because Wolf's like, it's impossible. And they're like, unless someone helps.
Not if the Romulans had help from one of the Klingons.
Like, obviously.
Klingons and Romulans working together? They've had a blood feud for 75 years.
Which is interesting, because that's an interesting time metric that I don't remember hearing. Oh, and the line that I would never have thought they would say, that I was shocked they said, that I called Discovery out for, is that Riker explicitly says that suicide bombing is an honourable way to go to kill your enemy. And for Discovery, I very aggressively called out Discovery for having a cloaked suicide bomb ship that go into Starbase 1 and damage it. I said it was absolutely the most dishonourable thing possible, but of course Discovery Klingons are the most dishonourable people possible, and in TNG 30 years earlier they said that.
Yeah.
I find that absurd, and how is it honourable? Because by that logic, you can walk up to a guy and suicide bomb, he doesn't know you, It's like you might have killed him to his face, but he doesn't know he doesn't know he's fighting you. You don't have to live the repercussions like a coward. Like, I don't see how it's honourable. It's the least honourable way to go, because you could do a lot of great execution style stuff with suicide bombs if they were that easy. I mean, did that strike out to you, Stuart, or some such?
Well, I noticed you said that, and I remember you saying about the suicide bombing. I thought, wow, that's interesting. I didn't know it was in TNG that was said. So, I have no real opinion on it. I can see how a warrior might, if he's serving his people to do his thing, I can see that as honorable. But bullshit, not so much, to be honest.
But then by that logic, you could have one pilot. I mean, you could always just have a pilot. But it just feels so un-Klingon to me. But that's why, if it was Duras's guy with a Romulan bomb, well, of course a Duras guy would do it. If it was a Gowron guy and they put the bomb in him without him knowing, it wasn't a suicide bomber, it was a bomb they hid in a guy. So, you know what I mean? I think it's not a suicide bomb either way. Don't think it makes sense. But yeah, I'll call out for Discovery. They did use some canon there, as much as I would think it's incredibly dishonorable.
But they say if the Romulans and Klingons form an alliance, major shift of power in the quadrants. And she says, Gowron came to me to speed things up. He offered me a seat on the council. And Picard's like, well, that doesn't suggest a Romulan connection. He also implied I'd end up like Kempek if I didn't cooperate. And then Worf says, Captain, I disagree. It must be Duras. And she's like, why? Because she doesn't know that they had an issue with Duras before.
I forgot, because they never really make him realise it. It was like, oh yeah, she has no idea.
Yeah, and this is where Picard says, we've had dealings with him to shows him untrustworthy. She's like, can you be more specific? No.
No. How could she do her job, if she doesn't know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird, and it's such a big secret to keep.
And he says, "I want you." Yeah, he says, "Worf, I want you to join me for the next proceeding." Well, Captain, they will be incensed. My presence will be disruptive. He's like, yes, it will. Exactly my plan. Fleet Pass Swiftback puts in $2. Honorable because they die in service of the Empire.
But without the guy doesn't know you're fighting. I mean, the guy don't like killing guys in the back's dishonorable. I mean, just because the honor you get for killing
some people say that cloaking a ship is dishonorable. It's not an honorable tactic for fighting. So
I mean, and we did agree how Krug killed the Grissom was dishonorable, but I don't think Yeah.
Area 51, $5. Reunion, the episode where Worf begins his long, fruitless march for his very own Father of the Year coffee mug.
Yeah.
So then we got Kalar. She's asking about the Enterprise's mission to the Klingon homeworld between the stardates 43685 through 43689. And there were 43 officers' logs and 10 personal logs. So she tried, but it's restricted. So she goes, well, we'll just do this in chronological order. Forget the personal logs, all 43 of the other ones. Let's take it one at a time. And then we get a beautiful shot of the 3 Klingon ships with the Enterprise in the foreground.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. That's a great, great picture.
Yeah, the way it all pops, beautiful. And you can't mistake scale here. They are cohorts or nothing. They're big. But yeah, Detective Kalar on the job. And yet she still doesn't feel utilized properly in this episode. She's not given her justice. None of her scenes are as good as her first appearance. It's a shame. But then we get Gowron doing the end of his speech. They've fully done their thing. They left me wondering, are they going to do it all in Klingon or in human? But that shouldn't matter because Universal Translator. So he should understand it either way. Because why would you recount? You know what I mean? I'm sure they're doing Klingon anyway.
Yeah. But then he says, so yeah, I'm going to have to think, look at both of your things and come back with my decision. But how's your investigations going? Investigations are complete. So we turned up some startling results.
But
will you join us, Lieutenant?
One of Duras is like, I found nothing. They're done, nothing. They're both very non-committal. They don't care. which is weird.
Yeah.
And that's suspicious.
Yes. But yeah, Worf comes in and what did your investigations reveal about the explosion? I love Duras. It was a bomb. And was your analysis just as insightful? Then Gowron speaks up. It was a common explosive. Of what type? Triceron.
So at least
What
they
about
tried.
the detonator? Yeah, what about the detonator? The findings were inconclusive.
Yeah.
Fortunately, our investigation was more thorough.
And let me talk
Bomb
right in
used-
your face!
A molecular decay detonator. And I love Gowron's reaction. He's like, what?
Yeah.
Romulan device?
Yeah. I mean, that tells you all. It's so instant,
Yeah.
the Gowron, it's like, what? And
Yeah.
Duras has no reaction. He's like,
I'm going back to my ship to confirm this.
yep.
Yeah.
It's such a strange reaction.
And I love how Gowron's like, as will I.
Yeah, I love that shot of the two of them. Don't know if you've got it. Oh, you haven't got the shot, but oh yeah, you have that side shot.
you.
Oh, it's such a good like. At that point, he's like, because Gowron knows he didn't he didn't put the bomb, so he knows it was Duras. End of story. You know,
Yeah,
and now he
yeah.
knows like everything's clear, and you can see it in his eyes like, oh, this shit. I gotta have to
Yeah.
kill this shit pretty soon if things don't happen my way. You know, and you can see it all in his eyes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We got more Detective KLR as she's accessing the High Council records. And or regarding the Kittimer massacre, like she's looking into all of this and finds out that Duras was the one that sealed the files.
Instantly, I said to myself, wait, so she can access the Klingon central database from inside Federation space on a Federation starship in real time? Really now? But then she said her special passcode stuff, so at least there was a reason she could. But it's
Plus,
like,
it's a lot of that database is probably on board the Vorcha.
I'd hoped that would have been, but the way she implied was like, but yeah, that makes more sense, certainly.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's pretty cool if you just do that. But yeah, the Vorcha and such. But yeah, Detective Kayla. I do get the sense though in her final scene that she doesn't actually, because everything's locked, and I doubt anything in I doubt any of the public records on the Enterprise will give her the information. So I think at the end she's basically bluffing to him. She's like, "No, it was your father, wasn't it?" Okay, good. I see in your eyes it was, because she can't really know. Like she doesn't ever hacks anything. Because I was expecting her to say like diplomatic override and get some secret dirt, but she never does. So I don't know what she'd find out publicly. So I think she was bluffing. But that's good. I like she was bluffing, to be fair.
Then we get the whole, she's looking into the files. It's like, oh, well, distract the guard for me. He just walks out and the guard, excuse me, sir, you can't be out here without an escort. And he just ducks.
Yeah. Oh, Stuart. Mr. Stewart, your internet is the best internet of all.
Okay.
Yes, it was fun.
I don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I find it odd that for some reason we never saw this guy's face. This other officer, like he has lines, and they
I know.
never showing his face. I don't know if it was like a stunt double or someone specifically just threw in a wig. I don't know, but weird. I like Duras makeup though. That's great. Let me do a digital enhancement. You really does suit that. I think the line on the eyes is good. Yeah, very much. I know that Westmore, in our interview with him, he said that they based some of the early TNG ones on dinosaurs. So that you can see the outer, like it's just a pie crust. Then he goes, talks to Kayla, who... Okay, did have something on the screen, good. What does the chat say, though? Oh.
Hi.
You know, it's funny, your internet, like, your signal looks great, you just disappear.
I know. The same thing here. All of a sudden you just freeze, says connection lost, and I got a spinny thing on my live dashboard.
Yeah. So they go see Kayla.
Well, Area 51 though throws in $5.
Hey.
Starfleet security easily fooled by hey, what's that over there routine? Yes.
I
Look, a
mean,
distraction. Yay.
Stuart, look behind you.
Why? Is it a distraction?
It's the biggest distraction you've ever seen. Okay, that was a good setup for me to double down. That was good. That was good. That I felt I should write into a spoof episode. Something. That's good actually. Biggest one you've ever seen in your entire life. Kayla.
It's the dinosaur of distractions. Fleet Pass Swiftback, $2. Duras is interfering with the captain's internet. Yes. Duras. Or the Romulans again.
Well.
Matthew K, $10.
Ooh.
For Klingons' honor is just a shield that they can hide behind. Hide behind as an excuse for doing anything they want. Kind of like Vulcans and logic. Beyond that, it's meaningless. At least from my point of view. That's
a well said point. Don't know if you rewrote that on your phone or that was a well written point.
Yeah, so he goes and says, you're looking into things, and she's like, what happened? It really happened at Kidamar. It wasn't worse, father. It was yours. And I love how she says, too, don't play the wounded Klingon with me, Duras. You don't do it very well.
Yeah.
It's a great line. What happened in the council chambers? And he just warns her not to pursue this any further. And she accuses him of conspiring with the Romulans, or at least his father.
Now, I'll give the scene credit. It clearly plays that Duras would not kill her outright. Like, he tells her to stop. And you can tell he's not just going to murder her outright. But when she goes that one step too far, he has to kill her. So I'll give him credit for that. He's not just going to murder her. Because you kind of assume that when he walks in, he's going to pull his knife and do something. But it's like... Ugh. Like, there should have been a cut where he's like, you should not have said that, woman. And it cuts down to Kayla having a knife behind her back. Like, that would have been a better way to end the scene. Like, escalate it and you just let it play out. And as her last scene, it's just like, she's not played smart. It's like going up to Putin and saying, did you cause bad things to happen in the world? And he pulls out a gun and shoots you. It's like, oh, well, probably should have seen that coming. You know, especially as it has a holster. Like, you can see it. Not that. Well, that said, he hasn't got a knife because he's on the Enterprise. So how did he kill her? I guess he multiple stab wounds. I guess he like broke the table. I guess maybe.
Don't know. Klingons have hidden weapons, as we saw in like season 1. You can build a gun with
just
their
build
belts.
a batleth out of somehow full batleth. That'd be kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, and I want to apologize to you because I was wrong. It was Duras's man that had the explosive in his arm. I don't mind admitting when I'm wrong. I just thought I heard Gowron when I watched it, and it was Duras's. So, but yeah. So the next scene, we find out that 2 men were killed in the explosion. One was Duras, one was Gowron's, and that it was actually because of the explosion pattern and the fragmenting was in one of Duras's man's arms, and that's where Riker says, "Yeah, it's considered an honorable way for a Klingon to die."
No, he says that in the. Oh no!
No, he says it here.
No, yeah, would have to, wouldn't he?
It's considered an honorable way for a Klingon to die, a suicide that takes an enemy with it. And then he says, which one of them was it? And she says, Duras's man. So.
Yeah, because I didn't remember them saying either man, but I was sure it wasn't Duras's guy. But yeah, that makes it suicide bomber if it has to be Duras's guy. But it's just like, why was he not standing next to Gowron then? Because he obviously...
Gowron, I haven't seen you in forever. Give me a hug. Boom.
Because they've used bombs before in Trek where it's DNA based. I thought they'd said that originally, so I was just like, oh, cool. So when he touches Gowron, like exactly as you just said, it would blow up. So I would have thought that would be a better bomb than just genetic timer. Because it was clearly flawed. Don't know. Well, it lasted a few more moments. Yeah, it's kind of a cool graphic. Dynamic tissue deformation analysis. Weird. Probable injury site. Yeah. And then you get a very
I'm here. Can you hear?
Again. Then you get a very kind of like abrupt again moment. You just casually hang out with the two of them. She's like, no, everything's fine, everything's fine. Oh, no, it's not. Shit.
Yeah. When we have more time, I'll take you to the holodeck to demonstrate in more detail. Oh shit, your mom's dead.
Hey, there's a knife through her hand, through her arm. Yeah, because he basically he smashed her on the table, and he used glass to stab her arm. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, I love how Worf's like, Gowron, no. Duras. He says Gowron, she says no. He says Duras, and she says Alexander.
Okay, that is funny.
It's
Like, now you say that, yeah.
It's oh my god, yeah, Alexander, you little bastard. I love the symbol, like when she grabs the hands,
Yeah.
and you see her hand like fall away, like take care of of your son, kind of thing.
It tells the audience he'll be mega important. This will be a bond that'll last forever. Hashtag F off back home. Like, can you imagine? Seriously, can you imagine if it was suddenly revealed that like she was brought back to life in say 6 months, and she wakes up and she's like, "Worf, my last request was you look after him. Can I speak to him?" "Oh no, Kayla, he's on Earth." "What?" "I sent him there same day he died." "What? You meant to look after him?" "I did. He's on Earth. I haven't talked. When did I talk to him?" 6 months. Not since you sent him away." "No. You're a shit father. I should have married Duras when I had the chance."
Oh. Ooh.
But it's such an abrupt scene, and it's just like, damn, Susie, damn.
And then, yeah, Worf screams, as you do.
As you do.
And I love Alexander runs away and like faces towards the door. Like that's really good, actually, the way that they played that. But then he's like, "You have never seen death. Then look and always remember." Great.
Yeah.
Traumatize your kid too. Sure. Good job.
But I mean, these sorts of things do have blood, debt, revenge, murder spree.
Yeah.
So it's just like, look at your mum so you can one day avenge her cold-blooded death. No, it's sad. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Beverly comes in and she's like, "Worf, what?" Because he buggers off.
Yeah.
He does tell Alexander to stay with the doctor, though.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Goes back, gets his batleth, drops his comm badge, and I love how he tosses it on the table and it bounces off onto the floor.
Yep.
It wasn't meant to, but that's okay. That's fine.
I don't know if you've ever done that sort of like, if you remember in Temporal Anomaly, we throw a comm badge onto the green screen floor. I think it's take like 15 because that's to land exactly in camera, and that can be annoying.
The right way up, yep.
Yeah, the right way up, yeah. And this is actually kind of nice. This makes the batleth really like, that's why we set it up. Okay, because as soon as you know it, you know exactly what's going to happen, and it's a good scene. But also, weird enough, why did Worf either take or replicate one of Tasha Yar's black cultural stabby gauntlets? Like,
because it's in lower decks, that's why.
It is in lower decks, yeah. Because we've seen episode 1 and the embargo Stuart from the start, right? It's just, yeah.
Well, they're just like, we got this prop. Yep. It looks really vicious. Looks like a warrior would use it. Nobody will remember that it was in that stupid episode. Let's put it in Worf's quarters.
I mean, if that was episode Tasha died, I can imagine it'd be symbolic. Like, I will keep the weapon that killed my ex-superior officer. Because I poisoned it! But it's just a weird, like, it stands out as being a weird prop. And it also moves. It moves between this shot and the next time we see it when he puts it back. So yeah, just
yeah.
Yeah.
Eugene, though, 400 rubles.
Oh, thank you.
"Hello, my name is Worf, son of Moog. You killed my lover. Prepare to die."
Yes. But yes, he
multiple stab wounds.
Yes.
Too much trauma for the internal organs. There was no time to get her in stasis.
Because they do find her really quickly, like from death. I was thinking, why can't they help her? But the line's obviously there to tell the audience, no, this is guest star. We are actually killing her. You know what I mean? Because she didn't need to die. It doesn't feel as deadly as it could do, given this future tech.
Maybe one day she'll come back as a Q. She's already been a Vulcan.
Yeah, maybe have sex via a fingering.
can't believe that was just said on our channel.
The visual helps though. So then we get.
E.T. Ouch.
Then we get. Well, I found a funny moment, and again, I like it when the episode answers the question. I thought so. So, at what point did the Klingon in charge of the transporter room on this cavort allow a traitor of the Empire to be on board with a weapon, walk through the halls, get onto a turbolift, go up, and to the bridge or the captain's quarters? Would he not be stopped by every single person? And then, thank goodness, the guy's like, a challenge was made. I'm like, oh, okay, so they...
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because it seemed really abrupt. Like, he would not be allowed to be here. But I'm appreciate that one guy...
He has claimed the right of vengeance.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I was like, thank you. Okay, we got that. Good.
But nobody knows why yet. Because he says, you have no rights here, traitor. And he says, Kalar was my mate. And Duras is like, oh, shit.
It's such a visible oh, shit. I love it.
Yeah, it's oh, here we go. Give me my sword.
It's a really good moment. It's a really good moment. But I do wish he was hurt a bit. Because he seems impeccable.
And Area 51 puts in $2 and said, I assume the Klingon transporter guy is dead now. I don't think so. I don't think that's how that
works. A killing spree is a bit different to a single one. And isn't it great that he gets a samurai-esque sword?
Yeah.
It's so un-Klingon, but that's another sense of he doesn't follow the honored traditions. It's a great touch.
Well, earlier in Chempex, when they were doing the the pain stick thing, on the wall was like a hand-and-a-half medieval broadsword. Yeah. It's like, oi, I have one of those. Nice. That's not Klingon.
I mean, that's okay to have custom weapons for custom things. That's absolutely fine. But I like that it's a specific thing. He's not the average Klingon. This is a very different weapon. Like, I bet it's the sort of weapon that's designed to defeat a Batleth. You know what I mean? Like, very specific. You know, just in case he gets challenged, I've got an anti-thingy weapon.
Fleet Pod Swiftback puts in $5.
Thank you.
I leave for 2 seconds and come back to sex via fingering. Shake my head. Thanks for the laugh. No problem. That's what we do here. And
makes sense.
Fun will now commence.
Oh God! Just off the fingering line. Wow.
Joined the channel at the rank of Commander. So welcome, Commander. The fun will now commence. Commander Fun is here now.
Yeah. Or Commander commence. And speaking of beaming, what do you think the procedure is of asking? Again, they can't just beam on board a Klingon ship. You know what I mean? What sort of communication are they gonna call ahead? Because I'm pretty sure they would say the Klingons would say, "Well, no, you can't. War's made a challenge." You know what I mean? They can just beam aboard.
Ooh, Joseph makes a good point. He says maybe it was a Romulan sword. You see Romulan swords in Picard.
Yeah. And 09.
Duras is close with.
Those are sort of.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I absolutely would buy that. Again, I like the bonus little context. So it's such a custom prop, you know.
So yeah, they're walking through the hallway here, and if Lieutenant Worf resists her, he's coming back with us one way or the other. Set phasers on maximum stun. Oh yeah.
And then
Pretty good fight scene. I mean, I'm pretty impressed. One thing I hate about the Batleth though, there's a lot of this. They hold it like this, and then they hit up on the person's face. That would really hurt, and they don't. It would also cut you, maybe. Who knows? Anyway, it's used in all the fights, and it's really badly done because it's right in the center of the Batleth where it would be metal, and it would break your jaw. It would do. But no, it just staggers them backwards like a punch.
If it's sharp, it would stab your head open. Single move. Yeah. No, I do agree. Although that said, it's clearly Michael Dorn in almost all of these shots. So good job him. Clearly. And I like the move where he blocks the Batleth and does him. It's obvious. I mean, I know Dan Code designed the Batleth and the fighting style very intentionally, but you can easily feel there's a fighting style with this weapon. And it's effective. Appreciate that, you know. It's well done. It's well done, and it's a decent fight, you know.
I love how Duras is I'm the only one that can prove your innocence.
Yeah.
Kill me, and you're a traitor forever. then that is how it shall be.
Yeah. Although I'm sure he's thinking.
Just as they come in and yell Worf.
Well, I'm sure in reality he's thinking, if I kill you, Garon gets to be Chancellor, and he might like that. And if the Chancellor can undo my dishonor. So
I don't think he's thinking that much in this moment.
But there is some. But you know what I mean. That's a logical step. I'm sure Garon will be pretty happy about this. Might give him some favors. But yeah, this is one of those moments. It was again Encyclopedia. The stab moment. It's really vicious, and it feels graphic and it feels powerful. You know?
And it's a great visual of it sticking right through his sternum on the ground, and then his head like flop over.
Yeah.
And you get the upshot. There's a lot of upshots in this episode.
Yep.
A lot of them because of Alexander. All of those scenes are filmed looking up at Worf with Alexander in the foreground, and I think Jonathan Frakes did a great job with that.
Yeah,
so
he really did. Yeah, for what it is, it's a good little fight, and it is a gruesome moment. I like that the way he stabs. There's no hesitation. Like this is, but you know, it's very in character, and also shows how crappy thing he was actually as a fighter. But yeah, then they all buzz away, and then we get demotion down to Ensign Worf, because he killed the. Wouldn't it have been awkward if, for whatever reason, so imagine the scene starts out, Lieutenant Worf, yes, Captain. In my hand, I hold the pad that would have made Chancellor Duras. You just killed the would-be Chancellor of the Klingon Empire. Oh. But I didn't submit this yet. Puts it in his drawer. Let's forget about that for a sec. You know what I mean? It's like that could have been very much worse.
It's time-stamped. So now that you've killed him, we're now at war with the Klingon Empire.
Yeah. 1 minute before. 1 minute before.
We just killed the head of their government. Yeah.
But there should have been that little bit of discussion, you know. It's like, he's a pretty important guy. And if Civil Wars were this easily squashed, why didn't Garon just go kill Duras? I don't just kill him, but...
Yeah. Anyway, it gives him the whole speech of, there are 13 different alien species serving aboard the Enterprise, and I respect each of their cultures, but if their culture or religious beliefs interfere with their work, they should hand in their resignation. Are you resigning? No, sir. Good.
And the way he says that is so strong as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful. And I like that. It's like, once you sign to Starfleet, you don't get your own personal rights of your planet, because you can still embrace them in your own time, but you represent us, and you spent years at the academy, you signed that dotted line. Doesn't matter if you need, take 3 weeks off for Lent, whatever. It's like, no, that's not what you get unless we specially approve it, and then it's because of other reasons. But I thought 13 wasn't very many species, Stuart.
It's not really.
1,000 people, only 13. I mean, I know we see 90% humans, but that does kind of feel like there's like 600 humans. And
probably is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was expecting like 50 or 45, not 13. It felt quite minimalistic. But I mean, we never see anyone else, so apart from Vulcans.
Well, Eugene puts in 250 rubles and says, Picard, so Garon, you win on the account of being the alive one. Over.
Yeah.
That scene was missing. That would have been good.
I was expecting, though, a final scene of, like, absent word that Garon is now the head of the cap, like, does he expect... Oh, wouldn't that have been great, though, if the final scene is as the Vulture, like, goes to warp, we cut to a warp, and we hear on the view screen, like, you're now Chancellor Garon, awesome. Turns to his second officer. Second officer says, I guess poisoning Kepok was a good idea. I guess it was. Cut to black. Would that have been great, though? It's like, oh, shit.
They were both complicit in it.
Yeah, because one tried to bomb the other, and one killed Kepok. That would have been kind of funny. That should be a re-edit. Get Robert O'Reilly to come back and like, but the poison. Sorry, I just tried that.
Yeah, but then, all Worf gets is a reprimand on his record. That's it. Dismissed.
It's so anticlimactic.
Oh. Well, yeah, and then he says, isn't it time your father's innocence be told? The only reason we weren't was to keep the Empire together and all this. Yep. But he's died in disgrace. So what's gained by your future silence?
Mhm.
He's like, everybody in the council shared in that lie, so they would not be so willing to just accept their own dishonor. But the day will come when my brother and I, and Jeremy Astor, and now my son, will convince them to speak the truth.
Yes, them. It's a nice. I mean, it's nice. You are wondering why doesn't he? But it's true. I mean, the whole council. I mean, everyone that did this, you know, they all feel like idiots now, wouldn't they? But guys, before we're almost gonna end now. Or almost, guys. Click like. We're at 83 likes.
Ooh, we can hit 100. Come on,
guys. Sorry.
It's dishonorable not to hit like.
Ooh.
I thought you'd know that by now. I'm gonna hunt you each down with a batleth if you haven't hit like.
He's done it before.
And all I'll get is a reprimand from Samuel. You've been a bad co-host, bad captain. If
they haven't liked, then they're dishonorable and therefore justified. You know, I don't make the rules. I just let you enforce them with a batleth. You know.
Area 51, $5. Oh my batleth seems to have landed in Duras's chest as he was lying down. Yeah, like the Benny Hill skit where I was cleaning me nails with a butter knife, and he run onto it 47 times backwards.
Or I didn't kill him; gravity did.
Yes.
What?
And when I saw oh my batleth, I thought my batleth brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, Eugene, 100 rubles.
Thank you.
Does the death of Duras make Worf the head of the House of Duras? No.
Well, I think also no, because it was a certain sort of ritual. It wasn't just like a challenge for leadership. It was a retribution for this. So different sort of situations.
Mm-hmm.
And also, yeah, Worf has no status as Jill. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a non-Klingon, really.
So now we get the Alexander sitting in the funky chair scene, and he's like, yeah, my parents are going to be at Starbase 73. They're going to meet us. They'll take care of you because I don't want you. You deserve a home and a family. They can provide that. I cannot. And then, are you my father? Yes, I am your father. Alexander, I am your father.
I mean,
no!
They must have realized it sounded like Darth Vader. I mean, it's such an obvious line.
Alexander should have yelled, no, it's impossible.
You abandoned me my entire 9 months of life.
But then they get a nice little hug.
It is a cute hug.
Best moment as a father.
His only members of father.
Well, except for Fistful of Datas, he's kind of trying to be a dad there.
Yes. He's almost a better dad to the future Alexander than the real Alexander.
Well, once your kids grow up, it's a different dynamic. So you're like, yeah, I can deal with you better now.
You're twice my age, therefore I can deal with you now. It's a genuinely a cute end, but it's massively sabotaged by the fact that he sends him away. Because I don't remember him sending him away straight away. I thought he kept him around for a season. I guess that's later on, but it's just like...
Yeah, well, his parents can't deal with it because they're getting old. And he's a rambunctious kid. And so he comes back and lives on the ship for a while, yeah.
But it's just, it's such a wind levers the sails. Yeah. Yeah,
that was their way of trying to bring him back and make Worf a father. And how would a single dad on a starship who's a Klingon, they tried to make Alexander fit into a story and just did not work.
Well, you said, how would he? The answer is poorly.
Yeah, well, yes.
I mean, that's it. It's, never
the Klingon way.
Well, yeah. But there you go. TNG Season 4, Episode 7, Reunion. The unfortunate death of Kalar. The fortunate introduction of the Vorcha with very little fanfare, which I think is kind of odd. It gets more fanfare in DS9 for some reason. It's like, they're on the IKS Vorcha. Whatever. They don't even mention the name, do they, Vorcha?
Nope.
And then Gowron and Enabduras. I mean, yeah, Klingon arc, Episode 2, and a lot of continuity. I mean, consider that. Duras and all these things, you have to have seen Season 2? I guess both were in Season 2?
I think so, yeah.
To get it. And that's not really what TNG is known for. But they were trying something here, All
right, guys, time for you guys to put your scores in the chat. If you want to super chat them, I'll read them out when we're done here. If you just do a regular chat, Sandy will read them out. But if you can super chat, get $30 more?
Yeah, and there's only 90 likes. Guys, 100 likes.
There's 90 people and 90 likes. Oh. But people come in and out, and they haven't hit like, so hit like.
I
Get
think
on,
they need to. I mean, click it. I want to see the full 100.
They just want me to show up at their house with a bat lath. They'll be like, "Hey, you want a beer?" I'll be like, "Oh yeah, sure." All right, guys. Here's my take on it. Better than I remember. It was great seeing, tying in Duras and Kalar and all that together and creating some more lore for the Klingons. The Civil War thing worked really well. The end of Duras, even though not the end of the Duras threat, which we don't know yet, but still great. Introduction of a fantastic character in Gowron. Robert O'Reilly is awesome. Very little for most of the other regulars in this one. Like Samuel said early on, it's very much a special guest star episode, but it's really well done. Frakes did an incredible job directing. We get to meet Alexander for the first time. I mean, that's a thing. Not necessarily a good thing, but it's a thing. And this one is paced very well, I think. The explosion's a little bit confusing for me, but it all ties into the Romulan plot, and it kind of brings them to the conclusion that it's somebody that conspired with Romulans. So it's fine, I guess. I just wish it would have been explained a bit better as to what the purpose of that exploding guy was. Other than that, I mean, it's a good episode, and one of the better ones in TNG, I think. So for season 4, I will have to give this a 8.5 out of 10. I think it was really, really enjoyable to watch. For all of TNG, like I said, it is a good episode because it introduces a lot. Well, it introduces Alexander, kills Kalar, introduces Gowron, kills Duras. It's doing some things with some main characters, or side characters at least. So for all of those reasons, I'm going to have to give this a solid 7 out of 10 for all of TNG. It's one that's definitely enjoyable to watch. Robert O'Reilly is fantastic as Gowron. I love that. Love watching him on screen. So
yeah, this one is definitely a oddity. It's a full commitment Klingon episode. We get this in DS9, but this is pretty damn close. Everyone's good in it, even Alexander, to the point that he feels odd. I think Kalar is underserved, but they knew she was going to get killed, so that doesn't quite work as well, but that's okay. Gowron, they didn't know, obviously, how good it was going to be, but lucky acting cast. Well on them. But same with Duras. I mean, he was a great cast, and he really comes off well. I kind of wish Worf had oathed with Kalar, because it's even more sad. We watch the scene, it's like, well, you're never going to get a chance. That was it. So it's a pretty... There's some deep cuts in this episode, both figuratively and literally. And it's remarkable. This is almost exclusively, like I say, and if you include Worf as like a secondary primary, which I think is fair until DS9, then they're all kind of primary, secondaries, or primaries. It really is like the everyone else show, and they really kick ass. And I would love to have seen like Brent, LeVar, reading the scripts, like I'm not in this episode. I got one line. I can film it tomorrow. I shoot episode 9. Okay, I'm done for episode 7. Wow. So that's very strange, but really kind of cool. It gives a really unique vibe. It has a few like.
You would have thought.
Sorry.
I was gonna say, just gonna jump in for a second there. You would have thought that Troy would have played an important part in this one. Like, where's the deception coming from?
Yep. Yeah, Jesus, yeah.
But anyway, sorry,
which one's lying more? Yeah, that's.
I can sense deception from each of them, Captain. That's exactly what you would say, and I'd be like, I can't help you. Thanks.
Yeah. Or if you're at negotiations, I sense one of the people is gonna be in danger. Wow, thanks, Troy. 1 second early, great. The episode doesn't quite get going pace wise, but it's pretty much interesting the entire way. So it's a strong just chill and watch it sort of one. And like I said, the explosion isn't well thought out fully. And the Alexander stuff at the beginning does not play well. But once it gets into the meat is really succulent and juicy.
Talking about Susie Plaxton?
Well, I mean... I'm going to do... My gut reaction for all of TNG is actually higher than yours, 7.5. I think because it has better for everything. I think for this season I'm going to give less good, though, because I don't know if it you know, musters up to some of the best of this season. That said, we've not had the strongest ones yet. Obviously, I can see the scores in front of me, and they're not that strong yet. My gut says 7 or 7.5. Like, I'm going to say 7 for this season. Like, it's pretty, like, you know, it's good. But it's got a few, like, didn't quite work. But you know what, I'm going to get 7.5 for Jonathan's directing, because the directing is solid.
Absolutely.
It's a little bit too repetitive, but that's the writing and the choice. You know, 3 scenes of Kayla in the crew quarters with the same lighting. There's only so much you can do. You know, that was always going to be a problem. Move on. You know, but 7.5 for both. Yeah, a good Klingon. Well, one of the better Klingon episodes so far. And I appreciate that Gene was sort of overruled at this point for let's not dwell on Klingons, because they're just so good to have, and it again makes you sad how they treated them in Discovery.
Why do you have to mention that?
I mean, it's sad. You know, Klingons here to there. It's just, you know, a bit sad.
It's been a long road. Ozzy Medeiros puts in $5 and says this episode gets an 8.5 out of 10. Trekyards gets a 10 out of 10. And of course, Skeleton Hands.
Of course.
Fleetboss Swiftback, $5, 8 out of 10 for both Season 4 and TNG. I enjoyed the whole Klingon aspect of it. Alexander would have been better not introduced. Kalar died. Crying, solid episode. Squadron course.
Actually, can I jump in there for a second? Would it have been more interesting if Kalar lived, they had sex again, this got her pregnant, but she was poisoned by Duras's kid as retribution. And so she gave birth before she died, but she was poisoned, but they get to have their... But because maybe she even took Gowron's deal, or like she's that, you know, Gowron asked, like she final scene of Gowron asking for help for no, like she says, I don't want reward, I just want to be in service. Like, and that ending, because that would have made, I think, that more powerful. Okay, we wouldn't have had the same kill Duras ending, but that could have been kind of cool.
Yeah. Squadron Course, $5.
Thank you.
8 out of 10. Thanks for these shows, guys. You're keeping Trek alive. I'm looking forward to your review of Lower Decks. Also, thanks for the update, Samuel, last Super Chat. You weren't last Super Chat, so...
Sorry, Squadron Course.
Jarzia, $5. Missed this one. Car problems and all. Oh, well, good episode. I'll echo Stuart's score on this one. Hopefully your car troubles go away, Jarzia. But,
or easy to fix, at least.
Yeah, that's what I was doing today. So, the thing you can't find, $5.
Oh, we found you.
9 out of 10 for both the season and TNG. Love the lore building for the Klingons and for Worf, and love how it ties into future episodes.
Yeah, this episode is massively improved by the future content.
Yes.
Like.
Yes.
Yeah.
James McGill, $2.
Thank you.
On 3, everyone do a famous Gowron stare. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Glory to you and your house.
And your house.
But not today.
That's a great episode.
But not today. Jeff Jacobs, $2.
Hey.
Got our Benjamin.
No.
100, guys. Good job. 7.5 out of 10 for the episode. 10 out of 10 for Susie. Hell yes. Yes.
Good stuff. All right, so non-super scores. Let's see if those wonderful people echo our scores at all. So put in the scores if you want me to read them right now. 9.75 for Eugene. Almost perfect. And first Brandon Braga episode. That's important to note as well. Cool.
Yeah.
7 out of 10. 10 out of 10 says Norman. Woo! Okay.
So the people willing to pay for Super Chats scored it less. I find that interesting. Continue.
8 out of 10.
He's bored by your scores already, man.
Sleepy by the scores. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Sorry about that, Tracker. Good luck with the rest of it. 7.5. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Yeah, you guys didn't post as many things as you could have, but that's okay. So sort of, you know, yeah.
Good scores, though. Good scores. It was a liked episode, so.
Which I appreciate that, you know, you went in, I knew you said you didn't like this one very much at all, and I was expecting to kind of, like, listen to you bitch about it for 2 hours. So I was kind of pleasantly surprised.
Wow.
Well, you don't often say, I don't like this one. Going in. I was like, oh, okay. So, you make a note if you don't like it. So I'm blown away, Stuart.
Like Jurassic Man. Wow.
Yeah, pretty much. But thanks, guys. And then tomorrow... Yes?
Tomorrow. We
We'll
got
do
filming
Future
tomorrow.
Imperfect. Ending our pre-Lower Decks run with one of the best TNG episodes, which is good, which is great. That's a great
I
one.
don't know if it'll be... Are we doing one on Thursday? Because Lower Decks isn't until later in the evening.
Well, I don't know when that comes out. I've not heard when it comes out. Do you know when? Like what time of the day?
Good. Pretty sure it's 9 o'clock on CTV Sci-Fi. But if... I don't know if it's available on All Access. I don't think it is.
Well, that's what I mean. I have no idea when.
Well, here I think it's 9 o'clock
Okay.
p.m. So I'll be doing my live review of that later that evening, and then we'll do the review of it for Friday, hopefully.
I mean, since we're doing that live, I guess we don't have to. Although we could always do like a cheeky little hour at the normal time of like expectations. We could always do like what we hope from Lower Decks, like 3 hours before it goes live, just like a chill little hour.
Could maybe.
Like a pre-release welcome to the family Lower Decks. So again, we're excited about this because we've seen the people. So that could be fun. But yeah, tomorrow we'll end our TNGs for now with a really good episode.
Fantastic episode.
And to be fair, I'm not gonna disregard the fact that we might not have as much to talk about as Lower Decks as we did for Picard. Probably gonna happen. So we may throw in some more TNG in between because we like them doing lives. Watch and find out, or wait and see. Sorry, but yeah, Lower Decks content starts this week, and as long as the show is interesting and has stuff to talk about, you can expect our coverage. So please do subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Join the channel via Patreon or via as a channel member, depending if you want to support us in the shadows, which is one way, or support us via the in the live if you're going to join our lives when we do them. Really great ways, and we hope we do you justice as we often we always try and do, but as we often hopefully do.
Indeed. You are right on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just stay tuned. We're going to have another live tomorrow, and then I don't know what's going on for the rest of the week, but we'll figure it out, and we'll let you guys know.
And Dan says, should people who have not watched Lower Decks tune in on Friday's Trekyards? Well, I mean, no. Watch it
Unless
first.
you don't mind spoilers.
Well, there's no spoilers, yeah, sure.
Squadra Course, $2. Last super chat, try 2. And no, because Fleet Plus Swiftback threw in $2 and says, me last super chat.
Glory to you and your house. Fleetpool. Good stuff. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good rest of the week, which will be 22 hours until we see you again. So, night, everybody. Bye, Stuart. Bye, bye.